We've all seen the movies of crime syndicate families, aka mob families, and thought, could this be real? Are there families that actually control entire industries, commerce, and even politics? Well, we're here to shed some light on this theory and introduce you to some of the most prominent families in the world that if in fact this is the case, they would fit the bill. Throughout this video, we will attempt to break down their wealth, influence, and powerful reach, along with their deep pockets and deeply rooted family background. We'll take a look at how these families were able to attain their seemingly ever-growing empires. This is Luxco. But before we untangle this web of mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Without further ado, let's get into it. With a net worth of over $215 billion, the Walton family is easily the richest family in the world. Late founder Sam Walton opened their first store in 1962. Presently, the Walmart retailers has over 12,000 stores across the globe, which brought in $524 billion in revenue. Bloomberg shows that the Walton family earns over $4 million an hour. With Walmart's success, 3 of their heirs earned a spot in the top wealthiest people since 2001. The Mars family, the second richest family, is the genius behind famous candy brands such as Twix, Snickers, and of course, Mars. In 1920, Franklin Mars launched the candy company in Minnesota and earned assets of over $120 billion over time. Today, the company expanded from the candy business to the pet industry while still strengthening their position in the food industry. Their participation in the pet care industry was started by a $9 billion purchase of the VCA Animal Hospital. Their current sales of over $40 billion makes them the biggest private corporations in the United States. The Ambani family fortune comes from the largest oil refining complex in the world, Reliance Industries. The company's huge success brought the family assets up to approximately $81.3 billion. The family head, Dhirubhai Ambani, founded Reliance Industries back in 1966. His heir, Mukesh Ambani, is famous for his $2 billion home and is also the largest shareholder of the company. This company is known as India's largest company by market value. You're probably familiar with Wertheimer family, with Chanel being the heart of this family fortune, amounting to $54 billion. Chanel is spearheaded by the 2 brothers, Alain and Gerard Wertheimer, who has been working on the brand for more than 40 years. In the 1920s, Chanel was a company that was co-started by their grandfather, Pierre Wertheimer, after collaborating with founder and designer Coco Chanel. Pierre financed the famous fragrance Coco's Chanel No. 5. The Wertheimers bought Coco's brand after she passed away in 1971 and is presently ran by Pierre's 2 grandsons. The Hermès family is well known in the fashion industry for their popular brand. The Hermès brand deals all over the world has earned them a family fortune of over $63.9 billion. The fashion goods include high-quality bags, expensive jewelries, the finest perfumes, and fashion pieces that are still relevant today and are probably worn by some of the biggest icons in history. The brand started in 1837 with Thierry Hermès. The founder of the brand created harnesses only for European noblemen. The company's vision expanded once his sons took over the business. Their fortune bloomed even more back in 1978 when Jean-Louis Dumas revamped the company's offerings, which resulted to revenues skyrocketing from $50 million to over $460 billion. As of today, Hermès has over $6 billion in annual revenue. Canada's richest family, the Thomsons, specializing in financial data, has over $40.6 billion fortune drawn from their 66% stake in Thomson Reuters. It began in 1931 with Roy Thomson's first media investment, which was an Ontario-based radio station. Not long enough, Thomson added another media outlet by obtaining the Timmins Daily Press. He then bought the Scotsman newspaper a year after that. Thomson didn't stop there. He later on tried acquiring the Sunday Times, the Globe and Mail newspaper, and the Times. By his lifetime, Roy had already accumulated 200 newspaper companies in Canada, the UK, and the US, making him the biggest media keeper. They also have a hold of a telecommunications firm in Bell, Canada. The Albrecht family's fortune has been a topic of controversy for a long period of time. Although this family's net worth is over $41 billion, they have actually gone through quite a few legal encounters to decide who gets full control over their vast empire. Brothers Theo and Carl Albrecht, who are also co-owners of the company, decided to divide the company amongst themselves. However, they couldn't come up with a definite decision. Instead, Aldi Nord and Aldi Sud, inspired by their mother's grocery store, opened with 1,000 of stores worldwide. Theo's share of the wealth still remains questioned. While all this is happening, Theo's daughter-in-law is allegedly flaunting and blowing off millions of dollars on luxurious items. Not long ago, Nikolai Albrecht, Theo's grandson, sued his mother and sisters for spending the family's trust fund. This family may have been different from all the other wealthy families, with the members obviously fighting for the condition of their empire. But it will still take some time before we see anything significant. After all, this family's foundation started strong and remains super wealthy. The Boehringer von Baumbach family is an example of the old rich empires. This family has been going strong for the last 130 years. The heart of this family's fortune is the 1885 pharmaceutical company Boehringer Ingelheim that was founded by Albert Boehringer. The family fortune is said to have about $45.7 billion and ranks the second largest pharmaceutical companies in Germany. Even after Albert's death in 1939, the Boehringer is still ranked top 20 worldwide. Not much is known about the family, but they are definitely the biggest drug producer in the world. The Johnson family is another wealthy family known to have a 49% stake in Fidelity Investments. Edward Johnson founded Fidelity in 1946 and has widely over 30 million people with over $3.5 trillion in retirement savings. This led the Johnson family to save over $46.3 billion. By 2020, Fidelity takes the second place as a mutual fund company after Vanguard. Abigail Johnson, the founder's granddaughter, took over the family business from her dad back in 2014 after graduating from Harvard Business School. She is now worth $15 billion, putting her on the charts as one of the richest women on earth. The House of Saud, the royal family of Saudi, is not an exception on this list. Saudi Arabia, being a monarch country, allows this royal family to manage about 15% of the world's oil reserves. The family's total wealth could be estimated at $95 billion and is controlled by over 15,000 royal members. Business is also one channel where the royal family of Saudi gets their income. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is said to spend millions on yachts, mansions, and the finest art pieces. He even has a painting handcrafted by Leonardo da Vinci worth $450 million, making it the most expensive painting in history. The Thai royal family is also considered to be one of the richest families in the world, especially with King Rama X being the richest king alive today. Having a net worth of no less than $40 billion, King Rama is theorized to have surpassed the wealth of the British royalty and the Sultan of Brunei. Before the rule of King Rama X, the assets were known to be the crown's property rather than the individual monarch. However, this ruling was dismissed in 2018 by the Thai king and moved the money under his direct supervision. Although this leaves a lot of his people concerned, this makes it easier to see where all the money is coming from. The Koch family. In the 1940s, Fred C. Koch, head of the Koch family, developed a strategy that would refine crude oil into gasoline, thus establishing the core of their business. Koch Industries is now one of the largest privately held corporations in the United States, with an annual revenue of over $110 billion. Brothers David and Charles Koch each own a 42% stake in the business founded by their father. The company has expanded its interest over the coming years, but it is still deeply rooted in the refinery industry. Their successful business is pretty much responsible for the enormous wealth. Their large industry not only deals with the production of crude oil, but deals with chemical and paper products as well. Surely the Koch family's wealth is only growing over time. So now we're giving you our suspected top candidates of the wealthiest and most powerful families that secretly run the world. Which of these families are you impressed by the most? And which of them would you likely fear the most? Leave a comment down below and tell us your thoughts. This is LuxCo. We hope you've enjoyed this video, and we'll see you on our next installment.